What world record are you sure you own without any actual proof? Fastest date of all time. I showed up to her house, picked her up, and as soon as we sat down in the car, she said, "TBH, I am really not that interested in going out tonight. I didn't mean to lead you on." I was like, okay, no stress, but I get it. She gets out, I go home. Date lasted like 5 seconds. Not me but my brother. He was in the backyard, Mom was in the front yard. Brother threw a blueberry over the house and it landed in her hand. I can't explain it. I don't know why he did it. We still all talk about it to this day. This was maybe 10 years ago. Blueberry throw of the century. 57 exploratory operations to retrieve cancer tumors. 30 months of my life living in the death ward. And now I am the longest living from this rare cancer. I was riding my bike super fast one time and I have no idea why, but my front wheel locked up and I flew over the bars. Somehow landed on my feet, and while I'm running out of it, my bike was doing front flips behind me and the front of my seat went down the back of my shorts and I stood there wearing my bike like a backpack. I don't know what the record would be. Maybe silliest almost bicycle crash save. Highest average of trips to Lowe's when working on a project at the house. I have 2 jaywalking tickets. I've never met someone with one. I can't imagine anyone else on earth has more than 2. I hope you all know that I'm about to beat all these records. Especially touching that guy's penis. I guarantee that nobody has touched my penis more than I have. I'm no real life good luck Chuck. 4 of my 5 exes married the next guy. If there's someone out there that's cracked 80, I'd like to see it. Edit. Given the flurry of one-up responses, I'm really questioning some of your definitions of X. Spotify said I listened to You Ought to Know by Alanis Morissette 19 times in 2022. I'm thinking that's gotta be the recorded. I can turn my feet backward and have my pinky toes touch while pointing behind me AMD flat on the ground. I applied for the Guinness World Record and they said there's no natural way for this to happen and isn't eligible. Few months later a dude got that world record in India, but his feet don't go as far as mine. I'm certain I've got the record most screws stripped in a lifetime. You need a screw stripped, I'm your gal. I might have the world record for the longest DVD checked out from Netflix before they ended DVD rentals. I've had Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy checked for the past 15 years since 12/01/2008. I was once the youngest person in the world. I make up sounds or nicknames to call my son every time I see him. We conservatively figured I call him something different 8 times a day. He's 16, so at 6,520 nicknames a year, he's around being called 105,120 different things. I figure if I don't have the record, I'll have it someday. I've called him things from Voodoo Dee-Doo to Mayor Headlock to last night's chicken. It doesn't matter anymore. He just answers to anything. Thank God he still loves me. Fastest game of Clue ever. It was my family's and my first time ever playing it. I was the first person to go to. I rolled the dice, got enough to move my character into one of the rooms and guessed the character, weapon, room correctly on the very first turn on the first time we played it. No, I did not cheat or look at the envelope beforehand. It was a freak coincidence. I lost £400 in 2 years for mo time at 62 years old. No surgery or drug. Times I've stood in the kitchen wondering why. I don't hold it anymore, but I'm pretty sure I held the title for longest distance thrown in a motor vehicle collision for a while. I flew 168 feet, measured from impact to final landing. Fastest marathon with my hands in my pockets. Started the 2018 Boston Marathon with my hands in my jacket pockets because it was very cold, windy, and rainy. I was warm enough by mile 5, but decided to just keep them in the whole way. I only took them out for water a few times. It was a nearly 4-hour marathon, so not fast, but I doubt anyone else has been dumb stubborn enough to also do it. High score on Marseille level on Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. Without cheats. I'm terrible at games, spend next to no time playing them, but that was my jam. Can still pick that game up now and tear shit up. Always told my kids that I was good at it. When the remake came out, we fired it up, let the boys get the hang of it and then said when one of you feels ready, I'll be waiting. The look on their faces as my score just kept going up was priceless. Largest front teeth. Both my incisors are 12 mm wide. I 100% believe I have licked a giraffe more times than anyone else alive, and no, that's not a euphemism. The farthest a cue ball has traveled after the break. I broke an 8-ball rack and the cue ball flew off the table just as a guy was opening the door, and it went out the door across the deck and across the parking lot and then also went across the street. It was probably 60 yards. Most computer problems while using a computer in the proper way. World record for least amount of times hearing "I'm proud of you, son." I've correctly guessed 4 Wheel of Fortune puzzles before the first spin. Most intrusive thoughts per minute. Person who has misplaced the most pairs of sunglasses. I own the largest collection of air guitars and I managed to produce the loudest silence. Most times the difference between RAM and memory has been explained to me and I still don't understand. Repaired a congenital present from birth Morgagni hernia in a patient who was nearly 90. As far as I know from the surgical literature, that was the oldest patient to have undergone the surgery. I should have published the case but never got around to it because I was in the middle of switching jobs when it happened. About 60 of the first dates I go on are with vegetarians. I'm not vegetarian and do not seek it out in a romantic partner. They never openly proclaim being vegetarian until after we talk about going somewhere to eat. It's also never vegans. I know vegetarian rates vary by demographic, but very little of my social circle is vegetarian. I must putting out a vibe I feel those rates are very high. Weirdly enough, about another 30 have severe food allergies. My penis was in the Guinness Book of World Records, but then the librarian asked me to take it out. Today I beat my own personal record of most consecutive days alive. Staring at an empty Amazon box in the corner of my bedroom for 3 months. Most tank rounds fired while playing GTA Vice City. I know for a fact I'm the most humble person on earth. Got a royal flush the first time I ever played poker, first hand, 5-card draw. Was a kid playing with my dad, and I had no clue what I was doing, folded it because none of them were matching and I only remembered him saying pairs etc. were good. Never seen one since. The number of times I slap my wife's butt. I ended up in hospital with psychosis after not sleeping for over 2 weeks. World record is 11 days. Least hours of work done for a 6-figure income. I work in government. Second guessing myself. I own that. Most times telling my kid he is a sweet little baby. From 1989 to about 1999, I was the first person to say the word garbanzo beans for those years. As everyone yelled out, "Happy New Year's," I yelled, "Garbanzo beans." There were a few close calls where friends would try to tie me and ruin it, but they said, "Wait, what was the word you said again?" Some food or something. Hence them not finding out until just after midnight. TMI time most days spent on your effing period. I miss cute panties. I set the world record for putting 9 pieces of chewed gum up on my face and singing the "I'm Just Me" song and hopping around on one foot. I am the person of all time. I legit think I was the first person to get a shiny alpha in Legends Arceus. I fully recognize it isn't that important, but I played immediately and encountered it within like an hour of starting, a little after being freed from the endless tutorial dialogue. High score on Defender for Atari 2600. Most diarrhea in one day. The number of times I've seen myself naked. Only man to bounce a quarter off the ground into a laundry machine. Married 31 years without a fight or unkind word. Lightest baby to be born and survive with 0 medical issues despite being read last rites 3 times and in an incubator for 3 months. I painted Mount Everest a lovely chartreuse color using only my balls. There. I am the only person to have ever typed that. I doubt anyone has destroyed as many amazing opportunities as I have. Number of times I can irritate my wife in a day without getting divorced or unilived. I once didn't poop for 3 weeks. Then when I did, I clogged the toilet so bad it had to be replaced. Most grenade explosions in Half-Life in under a minute. Number of times I told my kids to do something, they say in a minute and it's never done. 99 days of consecutive nosebleeds. On the 100th day, nothing. Thought I was safe. Bled all over my GF's face in missionary whilst arriving. 'Twas a very confusing time. I can change my mind quicker than anyone else. Belly buttons per abdomen. I was the first human to beat the IBM Watson computer at a game of Jeopardy! Did it at their facility in Westchester County, NY. Most crappy shark movies seen 156 in last 3 years. I've gone 32 years without ever chewing a piece of gum. World's shortest patience. Longest pee. When I first got it, my PC could run the Minecraft start screen at 3,800 frames per second. In high school I was walking to the park with some friends. Evidently my shorts pocket had a hole in it, my cell phone fell through the hole and as I took my normal walking stride my foot kicked the phone up into the air and right into my hands. I had witnesses. Call Guinness. First person in the world to eat a Georgia state quarter. I collected quarters as a kid and my mom got me Georgia on the first day it was issued. I ran upstairs to put it in the state map while holding laundry in my arms. I chose to carry the quarter in my mouth and, after slipping on a stair, claimed my award. In the early 90s, our crew 4 telco linemen lashed 64 bays of 19 org 200 pair aerial cably on Spurs, then drank 64 beers to celebrate. I can say the alphabet backwards quicker than anyone else on the planet. Oh shit, I just remembered I was playing tennis with my friend and I served. The ball hit the tape section on the top of the net and instead of bouncing back or flicking over the top, it turned left and rolled. Yes, rolled along the top of the net for about 3 meters before dropping. I challenge anyone in the world to do that and make it go more than 3 meters. OMG, I have this. I was 14 at the turn of the millennium. I knew it was a big deal and wanted to do something about it at home cause YA no point 14. So at midnight I did 20 jumping jacks and opened a drawer 10 times. I was the first person to perform 20 jumping jacks this millennia. As well as open the same drawer 10 times LOL. I won my first and only fantasy football league 24 years ago. When I win again I'll have the record for most years between victories. I beat the world record for points in Metroid Prime Pinball several times by several million on a consistent basis many years ago. Not sure I could do it today, but if I had a DS capture card back then I would have proof. These days someone else probably has a more impressive record than I ever did. I'll Google it now. One time at a music festival I must have high-fived about 15,000 people. Longest consecutive minutes being me. Fiercest keyboard warrior, can and will defend anything even if it's wrong or right, and will debate with anyone and anything because I have nothing better